So there's this type of glass called fulgurite, also known as lightning glass. It's basically what happens when lightning strikes a beach. You get this weird glass-ish substance. But what's fun about fantasy is we can take a real-world concept and then layer stupid layer after stupid layer on top of it until we get something cool, and then say "'cause magic." Now on its own this wouldn't normally be a huge deal, but we have two other things we can screw with. One, we happen to have a dragon that can shoot lightning, which ties directly into the glass creation and is cool. And the other, we have general ambient magical weather effects. So this gives us a fairly straightforward origin for glass snakes, or bugs, or whatever else I make the glass art for. The most notable of these is going to be the snakes though, because that's interesting design. So whenever a lightning dragon, or I guess a fire dragon, strikes sand or other glassable material, they create some of these glass snakes by leaving behind a little bit of ambient magic from their breath weapon. Whenever these things spawn, they wander around for an hour to a day until their little magical battery depletes. Once their magical battery depletes, they die, which is why their immediate goal is to find the nearest source of ambient magic. In most cases, this might be an enchanted river, the Underdark, or the lair of the dragon if it was created near that lair. So this makes it fairly natural to encounter a monster in those areas. You could use it as a random encounter that's fairly straightforward. You use the Underdark, you use the enchanted force, what have you, but you can also set it up within the dungeons of a dragon. Now, dragon dungeons have a tendency to be either underpopulated or kind of weirdly populated. This helps you adjust the population of the dungeon to have a natural monster created by the dragon, and I can even imagine them being friendly towards kobolds, so you can have kobolds tame them. Maybe even have some giant ones that kobolds ride in a similar manner to wargs. But I also had an idea for how to take it up a step. So you have the dragon that's in the lair, and then you have all these creatures. What if when you kill the dragon, the creatures get an upgrade? So you go into this dungeon, you fight the blue dragon, and then after you kill the blue dragon, all of the glass snakes in the area immediately up-res themselves into glass dragons, and they are immediately hostile towards you and your party and are down to work with the kobolds still. Then you can set up to have like a nice escape scene if they didn't kill all the glass snakes, followed by a group of these things spreading throughout the world, because the glass dragons get a giant surge of ambient magical energy from the release of the dragon's death. So they start to wander the world, and they can then populate your random encounters. I was also thinking we could have them upgrade with time, so you get to be alive by the presence of the lightning dragon. But there's other dragons, right? So you have the green dragons, the red dragons, what have you. What if one of these could theoretically, like, if they go near another dragon, they can be granted an additional power. So I'm a glass dragon who was brought to life by this blue dragon that was then killed by something else. I can wander off, come by a green dragon, and then get the ability to produce poison and inject it into creatures I bite. And then I wander off and I talk to a fire dragon and I get a breath weapon. And then I wander off and I talk to a black dragon and I get some sort of acid ability. Now we can also see how we feel about party petting these. So personally, I find party pets a little tiresome, but here, if we want like a party mascot, it's a pretty good option. So what I would personally do is I would set one up like a snake one as a kind of boa constrictor that's like feeding off the ambient magic of a sorcerer or something. And this boa constrictor snake kind of sits around their neck and acts as a party mascot, and that could be pretty fun. We should also spend a moment considering alignment. I think we should have them start out as very territorial because they're defending their source of magical ambience. But over time, once they are freed of that source into the dragon form, I don't think they'd be particularly territorial. They'd become a much more neutral creature, and then from there I can see as they get like their upgrades that I was talking about, maybe the type of dragon they receive the upgrade starts to drift their alignment in a certain direction. At this point, I could also see some wizards starting to seek them out and setting them up as little guards for assorted projects, as wizards are prone to doing.